Ready?
It's time to talk sports. National, local, professional,
completely unprofessional,
high school and college.
Let's take it even further off the hook.
It's the Zach Gelb Show.
We are rolling
on Fox Sports 920, The Jersey.
Welcome back in. Final hour of the Zach Gelb Show on this Tuesday. 609-919-9200 is the number to hang with us. Fox Sports 920, The Jersey in Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties, or worldwide on the web at 920thejersey.com. It is a great time of the year, and with the March Madness, the NCAA tournament, it's time to bring back a tradition unlike any other. No, we're not getting ready for the Masters, although that is not that far away, but it is Zach Gelb, Seth Greenberg talking NCAA tournament hoops, and there's nothing else like it in the country on the radio when we get Seth Greenberg on, and he's kind enough to join us right now. Coach, appreciate the time, and how are you?
Life is good. What's up, big fella?
Nothing much. Always fun to have you on and be able to talk to you this time of the year. By the way, I'm a little bit offended by some of your Twitter followers. I saw someone called you washed up the other day. Coach, you're a star on TV. You're not washed up. That's the farthest thing from it.
Hey, that's what they are. They're faceless people. What can I say? If I'm washed up, the person that's tweeting me, how do you describe them?
Yeah, more than washed up. They're well done if they're tweeting you. A bunch of egg faces going at you on Twitter. I saw that the other day, and I was chuckling at that. Seth Greenberg from ESPN with us right now on the Zach Gelb Show. Let's first recap the local teams that were in the NCAA tournament. Villanova, the defending national champions. When I was in Buffalo and I saw them go up 7 with about 5.5 to play, I thought they were going to be able to close that out because of their experience. What did you notice out of the Wildcats in Wisconsin in the final 6 minutes of that game?
Wisconsin really made some plays. I mean, let's face it, they had an advantage in the front court, and they took advantage of it. And, Nigel Hayes, coming at a timeout, terrific job by Coach Gard, going to the one matchup he had an advantage on, bringing Bronson Koenig back in that 5-minute period to get him going a little bit. Look, Bill, just think about the senior class of Villanova and what they accomplished. I mean, it's a remarkable journey they've been on. You're not going to win every close game. If you think about last year and the games they won to get to the Final Four and win the national championship, remarkable. Look, they missed O'Chet for more than anything. They missed the size of his body, his rim protection, his passing. But let's not diminish all that they have accomplished. Another Big East championship. The culture at Villanova is incredible. They win with culture and class, and I think people need to appreciate just how special that senior class was.
And the job they were able to do coming off a championship when everyone's gunning for you was really remarkable because they had a better regular season this year compared to last year. But one thing I was very surprised about was the play of Jenkins, just because how so clutch he was last year. Coming down the stretch this year was very surprising. When you watched his game, what specifically just went wrong with Jenkins in those final 10 games of the season?
It's a make-and-miss game. I mean, he's a shot maker. When shot makers are making shots, it's surprising. He looked like he lost a little lift, a little explosion in his jumper. It's surely not lack of effort, but he didn't have that, in my opinion. It's kind of similar to when I watch Grayson Allen when he's not playing well. There's no pop to his jumper. I don't know, obviously two different reasons. I don't know if it's pressure. The senior year is so hard on players because, it's a year of lasts, not firsts, and, the uncertainty of the future, and it can suffocate even the best players. And it's disappointing. Chris is such a good kid. Obviously it's important to him. I'm sure he feels like he might have let some people down, but he far did anything but. I mean, what an amazing career.
We know that upsets are part of the game this time of the year, to say the least, and this was a matchup that everyone, when they looked at that East Regional, and I'm going to the Garden next week. This week I'm anticipating seeing Duke and Villanova, and that wasn't the case. Are you more surprised with Duke losing or Villanova not getting to the Sweet 16?
Duke. To be honest with you, I mean, Villanova's margin of error was very small. They had deficiencies. They're like I said, their trust, their togetherness, their culture hid them. Duke, on the other hand, and again, it was essentially, it's very rare that they actually get a road game. So if they got to New York, it might have been at worst a push in the Garden. But it was not just the way Duke losing, but how they lost. They were out tough. The hardest playing, toughest team finds a way to win. They were far from that team. And, South Carolina took the game to them. And to me, when I think of Duke, the 8 years I coached against them, you always wanted to match their intensity, their toughness. And they were void of that. They were void of a point guard.
When you had to prepare for Coach K, I'm assuming it's a lot of sleepless nights. Like, he's so much tougher to prepare than really anyone else in the country, right?
No. I mean, his players are tough. And what they do is very simple. Preparation for Duke is very simple. You've got to space them and drive them. You've got to make sure that you run them off the three and contain their one or two of their actions. They're actually one of the easier teams in college basketball to prepare for. They've got very good players, and he's a very good game coach. But in terms of preparation, they're not a difficult prep.
Let me squeeze in Princeton, since we are in the Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios, and the job that Mitch Henderson did.
Nice move right there.
Very nice.
Right
very smooth. Chris Jenkins used to be Big Smooth. Now I'm Big Smooth. But you have Mitch Henderson, and that was a team with Princeton that they thought, okay, going into the year, they were going to win the Ivy. They started out 4-6. They get 2 big injuries to Hans and Caruso, and then they end up winning 19 straight, and they almost took down Notre Dame, and they won the Ivy League as well. Just how about the job Mitch Henderson did at Princeton, because it was very impressive this year?
It was, especially after, they returned all 5 starters, but when you get injuries, it impacts everyone's role. And I thought he just coached. He's a terrific coach. Like the last play they ran before the last 3, that side out of bounds play was really good. The flare screen to the rescreen. I mean, he runs good stuff. His kids buy into him. He's obviously a terrific evaluator. I'm sure he loves Princeton. I was surprised that someone didn't try to hire him, like a UMass or someone like that. But he's in a good situation, and I think they've got a number of those kids returning. So very impressive, the job he's done.
Yeah, you have Devin Kennedy coming back, Amir Bell, Miles Stevens. So the Tigers should be in a good spot next year. By the way, did you like the inaugural Ivy League tournament? Did you think it was a good idea breaking from that tradition?
Loved it, and love it at the Palestra, except eventually it's going to be an advantage for Penn.
Yeah, it almost was an advantage for Penn this year. They almost took down Princeton. They should have.
Yeah, I think it's great. Again, I understand only 4 teams, but I also don't understand it because everyone's a member of the league. But, no, I think it's great. It's fun, and I would think, look, the exposure it got was great for the league.
No doubt about that. Seth Greenberg with us right now from ESPN. All right, let's get to these other games coming up this week, Thursday and Friday. The game everyone's talking about, Kentucky and UCLA. With your great basketball expertise, what ultimately will decide this game coming up on Friday?
The matchup at the 4, the Willis-TJ Leaf matchup is huge. I think if Kentucky can kind of just contain Leaf's athleticism, ability to offensive rebound, passing, that's a tough matchup for him. I think that Fox and Ball will be a push. And then it's always, Monk. Is he going to be on a work stoppage or is he going to, make plays and make shots? But I really like that 4 spot's going to be huge.
I always love the Kentucky teams, and I've always been a fan of John Calipari, and it just seems like every year, no matter what his team looks like in the regular season, he gets into that tourney and then they start playing their best brand of basketball. Since you mentioned Malik Monk a little bit, people are falling in love with him here in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area, and they're hoping that the Sixers could draft him. Take me in a little bit more in depth about what you see when you watch Malik Monk.
He's wired to score. He's a little bit of a volume shooter. He's got to be able to finish a little bit better at the rim. He's got to work harder without the basketball to get open and more consistently. But, he's fearless in terms of his ability to take and make big shots. A little undersized for, being just an absolutely dominant NBA player. Has a little Bradley Beal in him. He's very good. I don't know what 1,000 pick or the Sixers thinking of taking him with.
Oh, it would probably be their own pick this year, and then there's a chance they get the Lakers pick if it doesn't fall within the top 3. They have so many options. It's tough to keep track. They have Sacramento's in 2019 unprotected. They have a lot of assets here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's the process. The process has been going on for how many years?
I think we're approaching on year number 5. It's been a while.
You're fine. I thought you were very patient season ticket holders.
Well, you know what? They're actually marketing Joel Embiid and Simmons for next year's season ticket holders, and we haven't seen Simmons play a game yet. So I thought that was interesting by the marketing department.
I mean, you got obviously it's a pretty good thing to market as long as those two guys stay healthy, especially Embiid, because he is a team-changing, talent. But these injuries keep on adding up. I mean, that's a tough thing to bank on.
Yeah, it's a scary situation because he's going to be a transcendent player. Just have to hope that his health does cooperate. Seth Greenberg with us right now from ESPN. Let me get to Lonzo Ball and the Ball family. I think I heard you say earlier on some show, I think it was with Dan Cilio, that they're like the Kardashians. I agree with you. I said this a few weeks ago. LeVar Ball is gunning for a reality TV show, in my opinion, and I kind of just wish he would take a back seat a little bit, Coach, and just let his kid enjoy the moment. But it seems like his kid isn't really bothered by that. Hey, Lonzo Ball's a heck of a player. Just watch the tape from the other game up against Cincinnati. But from a coaching perspective, how do you handle a situation like that when you have an overprotective helicopter parent that's trying to make all these headlines?
Steve Alford doesn't even deal with him. Hey, LeVar, how you doing, man? Good seeing you. Thanks. Zoe's playing great. And he keeps going.
But doesn't that annoy you as a coach?
If the kid was a turd, it would be an issue. But the kid's not a turd. The kid's a great kid that carries himself with poise. He's a great teammate. He's about winning. He's understated. And the kid's no different than Steve. The old man says crazy stuff, and the kid goes, man, my daddy's crazy, isn't he?
So as long as you produce and the player produces, you don't care what the parents say.
You're not going to stop him. So you ignore it. You just coach his kid, and the kid is extremely coachable. He's a great teammate. He's a terrific player. Look, you're not going to stop that old man. You're saying he is in a reality show already.
You're right. When he starts to say, oh, he could beat Michael Jordan in a game of one-on-one, it's definitely reality-type stuff.
But here's the thing. You're talking about it. He wins.
Well, it's entertaining. It's good for us to talk about. It's very entertaining. I'm not going to deny that, but it's just at a time you got to say, let your kid enjoy life.
The guy's a buffoon. He's a buffoon, but we make him out to be this guy. But, look, he's a parent. He's no different than a tennis parent, a golf parent. It's just we put microphones in front of him. He's no different than 90% of the parents out there, except we made him this star. So, to me, he's a parent. The only thing he sees is his kids. The only thing he's concerned about is his kids' well-being. That's the way it is. So, who cares?
All right, let's move on as Seth Greenberg joins us.
He's raised a heck of a kid. I'll give him credit.
Great players.
No, forget about great players. He's obviously raised a heck of a kid because that kid is so impressive to me.
You're right.
He's like flatline. He never changes his expression. So whatever he's doing away from all the microphones and cameras, that kid has got a work ethic. He's respectful. He's great with his teammates. So I give him a ton of credit for that. All the other stuff is an act. Look, I want $1 billion shoe contract. So do I.
I'll take one, too. I'll take $1 million shoe contract, Coach.
There you go. You'll take a $10 shoe contract.
I'll go $5. I'll actually go a penny. I'll take anything that you could pay me right now. Remember, I just graduated college.
There you go. But you're big. You're big.
Yeah. I don't know how many 1 penny 15-size shoes there are lying around there. But, hey, let me just squeeze in a few more things before we let you run. I was watching West Virginia, and I know you're as busy as could be because you're a TV star now. But I was watching West Virginia and Buffalo, and their press is unbelievable, and they can hit the three. With Gonzaga, if you have to give me the coaching angle from it, how do you try to solve that press that's so lethal that Bob Huggins runs?
You got to throw over it. You got to have your scores on the other end. They're going to trap Nigel Williams-Goss on every catch in the press and every ball screen and every dribble handoff. You've got to prepare for that. Then you've got your defense has got to be really good. Because the better your defense, the less effective the press is, because if they can't score, they can't get into the press. Just like the better your offense, the better your defensive transition is, the better your shot selection, the better your defensive transition is, the better your defense is, the better your press offense is. So, they've got their defense has got to be good. They've got to limit their live ball turnovers. They can't compound their turnovers as opposed to and limit their turnovers can't be touchdowns. If you can turn it over, throw it into the stands, and then make them play against your set defense. Don't turn it over and let them run at you at a 4-on-3, a 3-on-2, a 1-on-0. So that's going to be the key. Be strong with the ball, meet your passes, look over the top, read advantage, disadvantage, and then play.
You know, the Stanley Cup and then also the NCAA tournament, those are the two toughest championships, in my opinion, to win. And I was in Buffalo in between 9,000 trips to the Anchor Bar and also Duff's, and I look up and I see a coach in Bob Huggins that has over 800 wins but doesn't have a championship. Is this the year that Coach Huggins' teams wins it all?
That would be really hard, but they could. And, you know, look, how everyone loves Hugs. I mean, is this the year that Mark Hugh gets to the Final Four? Is this the year that Sean Miller gets to the Final Four? I mean, those things are hard to do. They're hard to do, but, I mean, Hugs has got a good team. He's a good coach, and he's a good guy. So if it happens, that'd be pretty cool.
What are your predictions? Who's your Final Four?
Well, Duke's out now, so I'll throw Wisconsin in there, Kansas, Arizona, and UCLA wins it all.
Okay, interesting. You think the UCLA is going to win the whole thing?
Wait a second. Did I just say that?
Yeah, you
I'm
did.
happy you thought it was interesting.
But no,
I
but
thought
it's
you were going to say
interesting.
brilliant. You just said it. You just said interesting. Interesting means you don't agree with me.
No, I think Kentucky's going to win. And this is not the first time we've disagreed about Final Four picks, because last time I checked, you sent me a few Virginia Tech T-shirts that I no longer wear because I love you so much.
And that's why you're my guy.
All right, one final one with Seth Greenberg, because I know you don't want to touch that one too much. The coaching job of John Beilein, and that team had to overcome a scary situation with the whole plane incident. The job he's able to do right now, you just have to marvel at this, and it's unbelievable. How did he get these guys to play at this level that they're playing at right now?
Well, in November, they were a really good team, and I thought they had a chance. They bought into the defensive side, so now they have a defensive identity. I think Derek Walton's playing at an incredible level, and now they get a 2-point game. You know what? Put some perspective. When you walk away from a plane crash, a 2-point game really doesn't mean much. It puts everything in perspective. They are enjoying the journey. They're enjoying the moment. The moment isn't suffocating them. And John is a very good offensive coach with a real understanding of how he wants to play. And the hire of Billy Donlin Jr. has shored up and given them a defensive identity. And they got good players. They've got good players. They're playing at a high level.
Do you want to put a bet on this Kentucky-UCLA game?
I can't do that.
Why
know
not?
that.
You're
All
not
right,
coaching anymore. Why can't you bet on it? You're not. There's no violations
What
or anything.
do you want to bet? You want to bet? Here's the deal. If I win, it's the last time I take your phone call.
No, that's not fair. That's actually a favor. You know, you would actually be upset by that. That doesn't do you any good.
It's the highlight of my week.
Love you, Coach. Thank you.
You're the best, buddy. Be good. You're doing a great job.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. That means a lot. Seth Greenberg from ESPN joining us right now. I'm not taking that, because there's a very good chance UCLA wins the game. It's just so tough for me to bet against Kentucky at this time of the year. And the way that team's playing. Lonzo Ball probably is the best player on the court. He is the best player on the court in that game. But just because you have the best player doesn't guarantee you a victory. And Lonzo Ball, I have all the respect in the world for him. But the way Bam's playing, the way Fox is playing, the way Monk is playing, and the way just Calipari has that swagger this time of the year. I know there's some people that don't like Calipari. I love the guy. He's entertaining. And this is what the sport's about. Hey, you can say what you want about LeVar Ball. And trust me, I wish a part of him would just say, take a step back and let your kid enjoy the moment. And it seems like the kid isn't fazed by it. But LeVar Ball is good for the tourney and is good for the sport because he's an entertainer. John Calipari is an entertainer. And that's why when we open up the show talking about the superstars in the NBA resting and not playing, it's a disservice to the fans because those players are entertainers, and we want to see the entertainers perform. It's going to be a fascinating game. Kentucky, UCLA. I'm going to the Garden this week, and whatever game's on during that game, I'm looking at the monitor the entire time in the world's most famous arena because I want to see how that game plays out. But I'll go Kentucky. I will disagree with Coach Seth Greenberg. And maybe I'll go 2 for 2 when I disagree with them. And then maybe I won't ever call him again. Nah, I can't do that. I like the guy too much. He's a tremendous person. really the best analyst in college basketball these days, and there's a lot of good ones. But you watch him on ESPN, you learn something from him, and we talk about entertainers. Hey, Coach knows what he's doing. Coach knows how to rack in those big bucks because he's a phenomenal entertainer. 609-919-9200. 20 minutes past the hour, 5:20 is the local time in our Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I got to get into some of the details from the Aaron Hernandez trial. And also we'll get into a little bit of the Phillies. Expectations are very low, but the Phillies, they're trying to get you excited, but not doing a very good job at getting you excited. They had a gift. We'll explain that next. And I'll tell you why. The easy road, why this Phillies team's going to be a disaster this year. More of the Zach Gelb Show when we come back.